First thing you're going to want to do is find a scrap piece of wood. I'm using cherry. Now, lay out the spoon, or draw it out onto the piece of wood. After sketching it with a pencil, go over it in Sharpie. Use a vise to clamp it down when you carve it. Put a dust mask on and then get carving. I'm using a Dremel 3000 with a Kutzall Extreme Flame bit. This Kutzall bit will hog out material in a matter of minutes, so this spoon really only takes about half an hour to make. Now use a hook knife or a gouge to carve out all of the little teeth marks that the Kutzall bit made. I also use the hook knife to refine the shape on the inside of the spoon because it makes it look better. Now I'm using a bandsaw and cutting out the shape. I usually first scoop out the inside of the bowl and then use the bandsaw because it's easier to clamp the handle in the vise when it's not already cut. You can use a chisel to make this shape, but a bandsaw is much faster. Okay, so now it's time for carving. I'm using a flex cut carving knife, but you can use pretty much any knife, even the Swiss Army knife. To refine the handle, I kind of just round it over and get rid of any of the bandsaw saw marks with the knife. For the actual scoop part of the spoon, I just round it over, but don't do too much detail because it's very hard to cut through the end grain of cherry. I leave that up to the next part of this video. Alright, so now I'm using my poor man's disc sander to do the final shaping. Basically what it is it's a Velcro sanding pad from an old orbital sander with a bolt through it. Then I just put a nice piece of 60 grit sandpaper in it and it works great. Alright, so now sanding. This took about 20 minutes, but that's not actually that bad. And I shortened it down to about 30 seconds in this video. So what you're going to want to do is after you've used the disc sander, you're going to want to use 120 grit, 180 grit, 220 grit, and finally 320 grit. And that will make this spoon amazing. And you probably can't see it in the video, but each time I change grits, I am spraying it down with water, and that makes sure that it stays very smooth when it gets wet. Alright, so I've sanded it all the way to 320 grit, and now it's time for oiling. And first things first, mineral oil is like the easiest finish ever to apply. You just wipe it on and wipe it off, and it's good for your hands, so you don't need to wear gloves or anything. And I'm just using a paper towel to wipe it on. And yeah, I usually do 2 coats, but I only showed 1 coat in this video. So I'm just going to wipe it on. Clean up the mess you made. Use up all that extra mineral oil too. I'm just going to grab another piece of dry paper towel and buff it off. And this does not take long, like a minute to put this finish on. There you go, a nice, beautiful, shiny cherry spoon made out of scrap that I would have never used for anything else. I hope you enjoyed this video. And by the way, here's some more spoons that I've made out of my scraps. So there's the cherry one, but I've also made a walnut one and a walnut and cherry one. It has like a striped bowl. I think that one's my favorite. So anyways, hope you like this video, and I'll try to make another one soon. See ya.